Okay, for the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how I made a pattern. So you can use the tutorials from Adobe, or you can watch this one. This is just a real simple step to creating a pattern. And I really wanted emphasis on the random placement of each of my leaves in this pattern. This is pattern leaves. But you might use the tutorials from Adobe which show you how to make patterns that are more deliberate. So the leaves might be in line in those patterns or something like that. But I was just really experimenting and playing around with random placement. So to draw these shapes, I just played around with freehand drawing. Now I used Google to inspire me, and I just had an image of Google up in the corner, or I had one that I could flick through to Google just to look at to help me draw, but mostly I just played around with this skill. So I'll show you what this might look like just in a spare little spot. So I'll show you this one. My paintbrush thickness is much bigger, so I'm going to do a much bigger leaf. But I just played around with it. I just made a curve, came down for the stem, and then I wanted my leaf to come up in here. That's not a perfect representation of what I had made, but it's pretty close. Then I can switch around the fill and the stroke line. I didn't want it green on the outside, I wanted it green on the inside. So I click and select my shape and then I swap them. It's a little bit closer to what I had, but it's not quite perfect, and that's okay. What I can do is use the direct selection tools. That's the filled in cursor. And if I double click, it lets me play with these, what we call anchor points. So each of these points seems to be a important point in this particular shape, and that's why they call them anchor points. So the middle of the anchor point moves that point where I want it to change, and I can rotate my anchor points so that they create different types of curves. So as you can see, I can pull this leaf down if I wanted to. I need to also drag this anchor point and this one out a bit, and I need to change the direction. I'll place that in line. And I feel like this is quite sharp, so I might play with these anchor points here. By moving those handles, I can play around with those angles a little bit. So I'll just double click this anchor point, move that one, move this straight point here. Okay, so I've just played around with it a little bit, and that's all I did. Other things that I did was I went to properties. I can change the color, I can add an outline to it, or I can change the opacity, which is how whether it's see-through or not. So you can see if I down my opacity, it goes a little bit see-through and you can see the leaves behind it. Then I just placed it randomly where I wanted it to go on my page. So I placed all my leaves out, just placed them. I might copy and paste a range of them. So I might have highlighted a few, a group, and then copied and pasted it and put it all over the page. Then the last thing that I did was I selected all of them. So I did Command A. So if I Command All, it selects everything that's on my page, because I also put a light grey background on there. I right clicked and I grouped. So as you can see, it says ungroup here, which tells me I've already done it. But I grouped all of the leaves and the background together. If you look at my layers, you can see that that's all one image. It's in one layer. That's what I wanted. Okay, so that's the way that I created a pattern. I just freehand drew with the pen tool. I encourage that you pick a very simple shape. You might want to do some dots on your page, a plus symbol, or something simple that's going to be effective when it's repeated many times.